Hey guys, how the hell are you? Today we're going to do an all-new unbiased gear review on this, the Revv G20 high-gain recording head. So what are we working with here? We've got an all-tube design with 6 V6s and 12 AX7s. We have a switchable second channel on here. We have a beautiful clean channel, but then we've also got a high gain channel with a few different aggression modes on there to further tailor your high gain tones. We have treble, mid, bass for the EQ, as well as kind of a wide sweeping EQ. We have the gain and we have the volume. We also have pre and post. We can store presets. We have a headphone out that you can adjust the level on right here. And we also have the ability to load our own IRs and virtual cabinets right onto this amp. And we can switch through them using the dial here on the front. In addition to that, on the back we have several other unique features. We have USB connectivity, we have MIDI in for switching capabilities, we have a balanced XLR output, we have an effects send and return, a speaker out that can be switched between 4 ohms and 8 ohms, as well as a switch for selecting if you want to use an internal load or if you want it going through the speaker output. In addition to that, there's also the 2 Notes Torpedo remote software that exists that allows you to basically tailor the IR functions on this head and the IR functionality on whatever recording rig that you are using. You can move mic placement around, you can select several different cabs that you want to play with, you can even select multi-mic setups. There's a lot of tweakability for your tone on this little teeny tiny 20 watt head, which by the way also is switchable to 4 watts if you want even quieter operation. So that's enough of me just yammering. Let's just get right into a tone demo. For the purposes of the tone demo, I will be utilizing my Framus television model that has Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 Pros for those warm lows and those crisp clean highs. So my final thought on this amp is that this was actually something that really, really surprised me now that I've gotten it into the controlled environment that is my home studio. Playing this thing at the Winter NAMM show, I was honestly very unimpressed by it. So Revv is one of those things that I know that a lot of people dig, but I just never really could get into, and I'm starting to think that it might be because every real opportunity that I've had to play through a Revv has honestly been at the NAMM show, and you cannot get a perfect, adequate representation of what these things sound like at that show, because I didn't like how it sounded there. But getting it here, getting to play with the different settings, play with the IR loader, play with running it through wall of sound, hearing it amidst drums in a full mix, this thing is actually a really kick-ass high-gain recording head. Now it does kind of have that sort of 20-watt lunchbox head sort of thing going on where everything is a little bit constrained, but surprisingly the low end was kind of a little bit woofier on this, which was really surprising considering it's 6v6 power amp tubes, which you would think that that would be a little bit more into Mesa or PV territory, maybe even Fenderish territory, but honestly I was getting some kind of Marshall-ish classic metal and power metal tones out of this. Speaking of, that seems to be where the high gain tones on this thing really, really excelled. And don't get me wrong, the clean tones are awesome. This thing was initially based off of the platform of the D20, so it is meant to be a sort of all-inclusive recording amp that you can run a variety of different pedals into and basically use this as one of the most kick-ass pedal platforms imaginable. But now that they've added this high gain channel, it kind of really comes into its own for those of us that love the metal stuff. Now, am I going to sit here and say that this thing does it all? Not really. So it kills it on classic metal, power metal, does really, really awesome job on most thrash metal styles. It can do honestly most styles rather well. It even does black metal great if you dial back the gain a little bit and just kind of focus on a little bit more clarity with the chords. Even stuff like progressive and gent, it does really well. However, where I find that I was having a little bit of difficulty even while running a boost into it was getting the brutes. So the super brutal death metal and deathcore tones were just a little bit lacking to my ears. It's not to say that it was bad sounding. Quite the contrary, this thing sounded awesome. I just, in that particular instance, would have really liked something just a little bit more extreme, a little bit more broken up. But besides that, this thing honestly handled everything else that I threw at it style-wise. It took a variety of different boosts in the front of it and sounded really, really great, whether using a Tube Screamer style boost to color the tone a little bit, or using a Fort and Grind, which is pretty much colorless. It literally is about the cleanest boost that I own, and it really, really loved that boost in front. It kind of allowed the amp's own unique character to shine through, and it sounded really great. There was even a brief amount of time that I took out an HM2 and ran it into the front, and it actually sounded really great with that, albeit there again with a little bit woofier low end, not necessarily ideal for an HM2 sound, but it sounded kick-ass nonetheless. I mean, all in all, I'm really, really impressed with this, and this is probably the thing that's starting to change my opinion of Revv amps, to be honest with you. I think I would actually really, really like to try out some of their other stuff based upon how this performed. So, yeah, I really liked it, and I think this is a great option for those of us that just want something in kind of like a smaller footprint for home recording use. I think it absolutely killed it. So Arnold, what are you drinking today? I am so glad that you asked. Let's go to the beer fridge and let's find out. Today, from 903 Brewers, out of Sherman, Texas. I am having a Sasquatch Superior. I am having the 2017 vintage. This is a chocolate milk stout that is aged in Bordeaux barrels. It has an alcohol by volume of 12%. Let's give this a pour. Pours pitch black. Definitely a nice brownish tan head there. Definitely expecting this to be very chocolatey. Ooh. Very boozy in the aroma too, but you can definitely tell that there's a sweetness looming. Oh, wow. That tastes like candy. It's very chocolatey, has a little bit of like an espresso caramel mocha taste to it. Not like super present as far as like the coffee flavor, but definitely as far as the sweet desserty flavor, there's a ton of that there. Caramel, toffee, a little teeny tiny bit of hazelnut. There's just a little bit of nuttiness to it as far as the roastiness of the malts goes. Little creamy too. Mostly I'm getting a lot of the booze and a lot of the chocolate. Very, very, very good. So that's it for me. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. There's lots more metal guitar oriented content to come.